brought to you by Bethel School of Technology. Learn more at betheltech.net/Ken Coleman. I'm going to do a little extra paper crinkle today because of how excited I am about this. And I also want to say that I'm a bit surprised. I am excited, and I'm a bit surprised by this news from the Wall Street Journal. Here's the headline: How Gen Z is becoming the tool belt generation. I did not think this was going to happen and turn as quickly as it is. The ship is turning, and the ship is turning faster than I think anybody thought, and I couldn't be more excited about it. In fact, I'm going to be with Mike Rowe, Mr. Dirty Jobs himself, Alex, in a couple of weeks, and he and I are going to share a glass of his bourbon. Noble. He's got a brand. Made in Colombia, by the way, Joe. I'm giving all kinds of valuable information out today, but Mike and I are friends, and I'm going to be interviewing him at our leadership conference, and I'm not kidding you, Alex. He and I are going to high five over this. This is very exciting. In fact, I saw this the other day, and I emailed it to Alex, and I said, I got to talk about it. So here it is. The skilled trades are now all of a sudden becoming appealing to Gen Z. Why? Rising pay and new technologies in these fields have given it a facelift. In other words, it's not so dirty. And Alex, I know you'll remember this call. I want to say it was a year ago. I feel like we got a call from a young man who was a welder by trade. And he asked me, he called me, he said, Ken, I basically need your advice. I can stay at my current job and get a promotion as a welder, or I can go down the street and work in a job that's an even bigger pay raise with a greater opportunity. And that's in welding too. And I said, well, what's the difference? He says, well, in the new opportunity, I would be monitoring a welding machine. And I said to him, you got to be kidding me. You mean you stand there all day long and watch a welding machine do what you are trained to do? And he said, he started laughing. He goes, that's exactly what I'm doing. He goes, I'm essentially there to make sure the machine doesn't screw up. And I followed up with this question. I said, so you're telling me that you're not getting dirty and you're not getting very sweaty. You're just kind of there monitoring the situation. He said, oh man, that's exactly what's going on. And that's a great example of this idea of a facelift. So what's happened is, folks, as is always the case, technology makes things more efficient. And no matter how dirty the job is or how tradey you want to call it the job is, technology will continue to have an impact. So you take these kind of jobs. And so all of a sudden, young people are going, wait a second. I can learn how to weld, and I can be creative, and I can work with my hands, but it's not dirty and it's not as gross. Come on, folks. It's not shocking. Here's some really great news. Enrollment in vocational training programs is surging, as overall enrollment in four-year schools is falling. I could not be any happier right now. I feel like throwing a I told you so party. I just didn't think that it would be happening this quickly. Trade school enrollment up, four-year school enrollment down. Oh, folks, there's still hope for America. Students enrolled in vocational community colleges rose 16% last year to its highest level since they began tracking this data in 2018. The ranks of students studying construction trades rose 23% during that time. Alex, this is significant. When we had a guest on this show recently, if you want to watch the interview on my YouTube page, it was our carpenter buddy that came on and said, hey, we need carpenters. So again, it doesn't mean this is getting solved overnight, but it is the honest carpenter is that interview. And but this is good news. So those studying construction trades, that would be, masonry, carpentry, drywall, you name it, electrician work, all this kind of stuff, plumbing. Okay, that rose 23%. And then those programs covering HVAC and vehicle maintenance and repair increased 7%. So that's good too. Now, this is now helping us with two major issues. Number one, folks, for those of you who own a home, hello, you think this kind of stuff doesn't affect you? It does. And so this is going to help us with what we're seeing as an older group of trade workers that are aging out of the system. This is great for replacement. That's another thing. Here's the second thing. It's great for our economy Because here's what happens. Young people get into the trades and they can make very good money, but they also, a good portion of them will move from being a tradesman or woman and move into business owner. And that's good for small business economy and good for our country's economy. The median pay for new construction hires rose 5.1% to $48,000. Again, that's the median. It doesn't mean it's the top. It's just that's right in the middle. Can I just say something for a second, parents? Hello, parents, listen to me. You're telling me that you would wonder and be a little bit nervous about your kid who doesn't want to go to college making $48,000 in the first year? And oh, by the way, that means there's no debt. Wake up, parents. By contrast, new hires in professional services earned an annual $39,000, up 2.7 from 2022. Now, for you cynics out there, there's no question that professional and business service workers, for example, make a median long-term $78,500 compared to $69,000 in construction. So for you cynics out there, you're going to go, well, wait a second, Ken, that degree in that white collar over the long haul pays more. Okay, I read the data too, but you forgot about this. What's the average amount of debt that white collar worker has to make that money? I'll take the 69.2 with no student loans and the option to own my own business every day of the week and twice on Sunday over the $78,500 and maybe that same amount in debt, if not more. Come on, folks. They quote a mom in this that I got to read. They quote a mom who says, I'll be honest, it took me a little bit mentally to get on board. She's talking about her son who moved into the trades. She said she had never had exposure to the trades. That's not true. She had heard indirectly that the trades were not the most impressive work, that a degree from a great college. That's the life. That's what we've all heard. She says, I didn't have much exposure to the trades. But she said, this is a good mom. Way to go, Mom. She's thrilled that her son has found something that he loves with good prospects. And this is the quote. Parents, listen to me. This is a mom who bought the message that all of us have bought, that a degree is the better life. You get a degree, better life. Don't get a degree. Hope you aren't a loser. Come on, folks. That's the message. Listen to this quote. This is a proud mom. It deserves some paper crinkling as well. He's already thinking, I want to buy my first house by the time I'm 24. I don't have any debt. I'm off to the races. Are you freaking kidding me, folks? The American dream is alive and well. And I got to tell you, you want to get to the better dream and get there faster and live it longer? Consider the trades and not a degree that you can't actually make money with, because we now have data that says over 50%, just a hair over 50% of college grads are not even working in the degree field they got the student loan for. You want to talk about the American nightmare? It'd be spend 4 to 5 freaking years studying something that you can't even use or that you don't use. That's the American nightmare. The American dream is, hey, you know what? I've always been good with my head and hands. And I like fixing stuff. And I like wearing boots. And I like being outside. And I like helping people. And I hate school. And I don't need to go to school. So I'm going to go to a trade school. And in a fraction of the time, I'm going to get paid to learn something. And I'm going to be making $55,000 a year, while all of my friends that got better grades than me and got more praise from their teachers because they were good at existing in the system. Boy, I'm fired up now. I'm really going to offend some people. And they were just good rule followers. And so society rewarded them. And everybody thinks they're great. But they're drinking their faces off and going to summer camp on steroids, because that's what college is now. And 50% of them are going to be looking for something to do with their life. and they wasted 4 to 5 years, and a huge portion of them are 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 in debt. I know this because I'm co-host of the second largest radio show in the world, and we take these freaking calls every day. It's the same freaking call. And so they're looking at their friends going, who's the loser now, Chachi? I'm making money. I got a house. I got a car. I go to sleep really good at night because I'm tired, because I actually worked and did something meaningful, and I don't have stress and debt. Oh, by the way, what I do makes the world go round. Last little bit on this, I like to remind folks all the time, God did not give me any talent outside of the ability to talk. And so when something goes wrong in my house, I'm worthless. Poor Stacy. I'm worthless. However, I talk well enough to be able to afford guys that I'm talking about right now that can come fix it. And you know who the most important man in Stacy's life is when our AC goes out? It ain't me. It's the HVAC guy. And you're telling me the HVAC guy who's out there in 100-degree weather sweating his you-know-what's off, but he is fixing the problem, and he sees my wife when he says to her, got the AC back online, Mrs. Coleman, and he's dirty and sweaty and nasty. Do you think my wife looks at him and goes, ooh, okay, here's the check? No, she practically wants to hug the guy. Why? Because he made our life more comfortable, made our life safer if it's heat in the extreme winter. So I digress, because now I've gone on a longer rant. Here's the bottom line. The latest study from Burning Glass Institute shows that roughly half of college grads end up in jobs where their degrees aren't even needed. And many high school graduates say they are disinclined to take on college debt. Those are two massive storms. Have you ever seen the George Clooney movie, A Perfect Storm? I just gave you the business, job, economic perfect storm. Both of those two pieces of data right there. Folks, let me tell you, if you haven't woken up yet, 5 years, 10 years from now, college education is no longer going to be the shiny thing that everybody's going to have to do. So why not save yourself some time? Why not save yourself some money? Why not save yourself some stress, parents? And those of you, maybe high schoolers or college people listening to me right now, and just freaking go, what is it that I want to do? And how is it that I can get there? By the way, I can help you with both. The Get Clear assessment does it for you in about 15, 18 minutes. Every book, every product that I've ever done will help you answer those questions and set you free. Launch your tech career today at betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.